really procrastinate and you're waiting to the last minute and you're doing them all at the last minute. And I will be having my Countdown to Christmas class series that I normally do. That will start later. It'll start later in August, and it will be involving holiday sets that are from the upcoming mini catalog that will be out on August 3rd. So those should be coming to your mailbox in the next couple of weeks if you are on my mailing list. If you'd like a catalog, just let me know. Drop me a direct message or email me. You can go to toocoolstamping.com and hit the email link there and send me an email with your address, and I'd be happy to send you one of those catalogs. And the other thing that's really cool, also on August 3rd, we're going to have Celebration 2.0 in 2021. This is the second celebration this year. It's the first time ever that Stampin' Up! Has had Celebration mid-year. So this is going to be a new thing, and I just saw the celebration flyer not too long ago. There's some really cool things on it. A couple of holiday things that match and coordinate with things from the holiday mini catalog, or it's not really a holiday mini catalog, but it's called the mini catalog for July to December, even though it starts in August because of some shipping delays. They had to start it 1 month late. But that celebration flyer has some things that coordinate with that for the holidays, as well as some other really cool things. So you'll want to be a part of that, and I'll also send that catalog out to you, that flyer out to you, so that you can see what's available. We'll have more information about the upcoming celebration. Again, it starts August 3rd, the same day that the mini catalog is available, and so that is something really fun to look forward to. Excuse me. So what's going on right now? Well, I mentioned our 2 cool weeks of July and August. I'm going to be focusing on Christmas stamp sets from the annual catalog. I think sometimes we have these mini catalogs come out, these seasonal flyers, and we kind of skip over some things in the annual catalog. So I wanted to highlight those before we really get into the holiday craft making season with the new mini catalog, and really focus on that. So this week is going to be featuring the Evergreen Elegance bundle. And then next week, we're going to be creating with Tidings and Trimmings bundle. And so you can find both of those in your annual catalog on page 89 through 91. So you can check that out. And if you need a catalog, if you still don't have one, let me know. I can get one of those out to you as well. So other things happening in July, while we're waiting for that mini catalog to come on August 3rd, we have a designer series paper sale going on right now. All the standard packs of designer series paper from the annual catalog are 15% off. So that is going to include anything that's not a specialty pack. Let me just read off the names real fast. I'll get to that, and I'll just read off the names. I think there's about 9. So you have the Beauty of the Earth. This is all starts on page 130 of the annual catalog. Beauty of the Earth, Bloom Where You're Planted, the hand pen designer series paper. If you got that class kit from a couple of weeks ago, you know how beautiful that is. In Good Taste, that's the big value pack of really awesome backgrounds. In the Wild, the Pansy Petals and Sweet Symmetry, and then You're a Peach, and then the Tidings of Christmas, which we're going to be using both this week and next week. So you'll definitely want to stock up on that Christmas paper so you can make the cards that I'm making today, as well as the cards for next week. So again, that's Tidings of Christmas. It's on sale right now. It's a 6x6 pack, and I'll show you that when we turn the camera around. I'll show you those beautiful papers. Okay, let's see. Did I get everything I wanted to make an announcement about? I think so. So we are going to have, along with this class, a live class kit available, and that will be for 5 cards. If you place a $35 minimum order with me, just go to toocoolstamping.com and use the host code. I'll show you that code when we flip the camera around. I'll also have it at the top of this post in the description when we are done. So you'll know what code to use, and then you'll get all the supplies that you need to create today's, today's class. And I know you're going to love it. So hopefully you're in a little bit of a Christmassy mood. I was going to make it a little more Christmassy around here and decorate a little bit, but I didn't have a chance to do that. I even have, I have a Christmas tree in my my studio, I would point the camera that way, but you don't want to see the rest of the studio because I think Hurricane Elsa must have came up to Indiana and totally blew it away in here because it's crazy. It's a crazy pit. But I have a Christmas tree that has all my 2 cool colors on it, and I keep it up all year because it makes me happy. Anyway, okay, let's get on with our class. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm going to flip the camera around, so hold on for just a moment. Close your eyes if you get a little motion sickness. Okay, let's make sure that we're all in the camera here. Put a little light on the subject. So I wanted to start out by sharing with you the bundle that we're going to be dealing with today, the Evergreen Elegance bundle. It's a beautiful stamp set that features evergreens, obviously, and some really pretty sentiments. So we have, it is a red rubber stamp set, a cling stamp set, and some really pretty evergreens, so you can make some pretty scenes with it, and I'll show you lots of different ways that we can use it. And then also in that bundle comes this border punch, and so you have the trees, and you can make a whole border with these cool evergreen trees, and I'll show you how to use this if you've never used one. It's really, really fun. And then my favorite, this isn't really part of the technical suite that goes with the stamp set, but I love this paper, and it's the Christmas paper that's available right now because it's in the annual catalog. They don't always have Christmas paper in that catalog, but I love that they do this year. This is a 6x6 pack, and it's called, I just had it in my head, but now I forget, Tidings of Christmas, and you get 6 double-sided patterns, and you get 8 each, so you have 48 sheets of this beautiful paper. So you can see all the beautiful patterns. You have a lot that are in beautiful Christmassy colors, the Evening Evergreen, Cherry Cobbler, Soft Succulent. So here are the back-to-back papers, some beautiful stripes, some beautiful holly leaves, even some snowflakes. Sahara Sand is also in this one. Some pretty little Christmas trees here with some more stripes. Just beautiful patterns and very traditional, maybe a little bit, I don't know what the word is. It's not really vintage, but the colors are a little bit muted, so they're not really bright Christmas traditional colors, but really pretty nonetheless. There's even some misty moonlight in this last pattern, and I love that. So that is the Tidings of Christmas paper. And that is what we're going to be using today. So we're going to get started. Let me show you our host code again if you want to earn that live class kit with all the supplies to make all 5 cards that I'm showing today. You'll want to place an order at toocoolstamping.com. It needs to be at least $35 minimum, and be sure to use that host code. You type that in on the shopping cart page right above the total there. So make sure you do that. Okay, let's get started with our first card, and I'm starting with Soft Succulent. This is one of my favorite in colors for this year. I really love this beautiful soft color, and it works so well with the evergreen, Evening Evergreen as well, so I love that. So I have that as a card base. My traditional card bases are 5.5 by 8.5, and they're scored at 4 1/4. Then I have another piece here of Soft Succulent. This one is 5 1/4 by 4, and I've already embossed it with the Evergreen 3D embossing folder. Do you see that? This goes perfectly with this bundle. Beautiful evergreens and beautiful texture. I absolutely love it. Now before we put this down, we're going to decorate just a little bit with some of the Evening Evergreen ribbon that's in the annual catalog as well. Woven ribbon. I don't know if you can see this or not, but it's almost like cloth and very flexible, very easy to tie. And I'm going to put that right around my card front and just secure it on the back. So I'll add a little bit of seal and just secure those ends. And then we'll add that to our card front. Now you always want to use really sticky adhesive for a textured piece like this. I love the Seal adhesive. The Seal Plus is also really good. Tombow multi-purpose liquid glue is also great. But you want to make sure, especially if you're in a humid climate like me here in Indiana in the summer, you got to use something that's kind of really going to secure it down so it doesn't pop up. All right, next I have a piece here of Mary Merlot, and it's cut out with the Scalloped Contours dies. I know you've heard me talk about that a lot. That's one of those must-have sets that you really need because it has so many cool label shapes like that. And then we have a piece here of basic white, and let me give you the measurement on that. It's 3 1/4 by 1 7/8, and it's going to fit perfectly in that stitched border shape. Do you see this faux stitching around there? It's not showing up too well on the camera, but hopefully you can see that. All right, we're going to do some stamping on that, and we're going to start with this really pretty pine, and we'll start with the evening evergreen, and we're just going to stamp once on the top and flip it around and do once on the bottom. And you're going to maybe need to overlap just a little bit to get it right on the edge of that, to get it, make sure it's all on that piece. And then we will add that to our Scalloped Contour label. I love this card because it just comes together so quickly. It's one of those that you can really duplicate quickly. So that's going to be on there. We're going to pop that up with some dimensionals. And you're going to want to make sure that the dimensionals are not where your ribbon is, because the ribbon is a little bit thicker than most ribbons, so you don't want it to be too bulky there. Okay, we'll add that right over the top in the corner. And then we'll finish up with a sentiment, which for some reason I am not finding my little piece of paper with my sentiment on it. I've lost my paper. You know, those of you who've watched me before, there's always at least one thing that I can't find. All right. Well, I can't believe that. It's not on the ground. It's kind of an important little piece because it has our sentiment on it. Okay. I am going to just show you the finished version here. So I have this piece here that, you know what? Here it is. It's stuck to the back. Look at that. Ta-da! Shoo! I got out of that one. So here is our sentiment, a Merry Christmas. I'll show you how to make that. And I'm so glad that I found that because it's actually, we do a little fishtail banner cut on the side. And I wanted to show you how to do that. This is the Lovely Labels Pick-a-Punch. Have you ever used this before? This is a really cool double punch, but it also gives you lots of different options, and it gives you different ends that you can put on banners. So let me show you how that works. You can pick either just the regular banner shape or the inverted banner shape. Can you see that? It's kind of hard not picking it up very well in the camera. So we'll unlock that. And the cool part about this is it has 3 different levels. So you can do 3 different sizes of strips. So the one we're doing today is going to be a 3/4 inch strip. You can also do a 1/2 inch strip and a 1 inch strip for each one of these banners. And you'll want to start out with a little bit longer of a strip. This is a 4 1/4 by 3/4. And if you err at all, you want to just be a slightly bit smaller than 3/4 of an inch, just so that it's not buckling in there. So that way it's going to slide in there really nice and easy. So you push that all the way in, nice and flush, and then push down, and it makes that nice border. So this is one, you know, I do a fishtail cut quite a lot on my own, but this is going to give you that nice cut that's going to be symmetrical every time. You just got to make sure that it's fitting nicely in that groove and nice and square and all the way flush into your punch, and you're going to get that really pretty border. So I love those pick-a-punch borders. There's a couple in our catalog that you can choose from, different shapes, and I think they're really, really awesome. So I wanted to show you that today. So we'll put a few more dimensionals on our sentiment. I can't tell you how glad I am that I found that little piece, because I'm like, I really want to show you that pick-a-punch. And that's just going to go right over the top. And then we're going to add a couple of rhinestones from the Holiday Rhinestones pack. This is just an awesome pack for the holidays, which is why it's named that, I guess, but it has beautiful colors that are going to work on all of your holiday cards. You have Night of Navy, Pool Party, I think it's shaded spruce, but it goes along with a lot of greens, and Merry Merlot, and maybe Mango Melody, but it's almost like a gold. So really pretty and matches so many things. And I'm just going to add a few of the Merry Merlot to go with that background label. Give it a little sparkle, and there we have it. Really cute, really simple. Let me show you another version that I did. And I actually got this design idea from Rhonda Wade. Really cute. This one is a little more elegant, all white and evergreen. So I did the background in basic white using the thick cardstock for a nice sturdy card base. I did that same texture on on basic white for the background. The label is in white, stamped with evergreen. And this time I put that ribbon just as a little bit peeking out of both ends. And then my Merry Christmas is in crumb cake instead of the Merry Merlot. And then added some of those shaded spruce green holiday rhinestones. And those look great with that evergreen. So I love that kind of a more elegant look versus a more kind of a muted traditional look. So that's our first card for today. All right, we're going to keep these rhinestones handy because we're going to use those on several cards. This one begins with Cherry Cobbler, and I already have this one ready to go for our card, for our card base. Next, I have a piece here of the Tidings of Christmas paper. It's just 2 by 4, and we'll put that right on the edge here of our card. And next we're going to do some stamping of those beautiful evergreen trees. We're going to start with our sentiment so we can get some positioning. So the thing I like about the stamp set is there's actually, you have that basic traditional Merry Christmas, which is fabulous. And then you have this sentiment, it's friends like you that make the season so wonderful. That can be used on the outside or inside of the card. And this is a really great inside sentiment, but you could always use that on the outside like we're doing here as well. Make sure I got that nice and inked up. We're going to put this right up in the corner. And that was in Cherry Cobbler to match that Cherry Cobbler card base. Next, we're going to stamp some of these beautiful trees. And we'll start with the Evening Evergreen for this largest tree. And I'm going to put that evergreen as far up as I can. And maybe do another one down here. So just a little tiny one down there. Then let's add some more sizes of evergreens in different colors. So this is Soft Succulent. And we'll just stamp that over here. Maybe do another one clear over to the side. And then the last one, we're gonna do this cute little one, and that one's gonna be in Mint Macaron. So we'll add that. We're just gonna fill in the blank spots here. And I love how quickly and easily that all comes together. So this, I don't think I gave you the measurement on it. Let me do that. That's 4.5 by 3 1/4. And then I'm gonna layer that on an evening evergreen piece here that is 4 5/8 by 3 3/8. I love when we can use stamping to really pull in that focal point. We don't have to use a lot of tools or anything. It's all stamps, ink, and paper to make it beautiful. I'm going to finish up with some of this evening evergreen open weave ribbon. And I'm just going to tie that in a double knot around the bottom here, just to give it a little texture. And trim those ends. Whoops, uh-oh. I must have had some on my hand. Be careful. You guys don't do that. I know you don't. Okay, we're gonna pop that up with some dimensionals. Just a few here. Now you didn't see it, but I wiped that on my pants. I don't know, do you guys do that? If I have extra ink on my pants or even on a stamp that I don't want ink on, I just kind of wipe it on my jeans. It's really fast. Maybe non-traditional, but it's fun. Okay, next we're gonna add some of those holiday rhinestones. Now, because I made some boo-boos there, I'm gonna cover those up for sure. They're not exactly where I would want to put those rhinestones, but at least we can try to cover that up a little bit. And then we'll put one, see, usually I would want more of a triangle shape. Let's see, we'll just have to maybe just put some extra ones on here to make up for it. We'll just go crazy with it. There's always ways to fix things, so you never need to worry about that. So let me show you, this is what it should have looked like with just a few on there. So that is the second card. Let me show you my Too Cool version. This one I did in a vertical. I used one of the other Sahara Sand patterns on the background with Sahara Sand card base. Stamped my sentiment up at the top and the evening or the evergreens at the bottom, and used just some basic rhinestones. If you wanted to, you could color those, or but I just kind of like them white, so they kind of look like snow. So that is our second card. All right, next up we're starting with Evening Evergreen as our card base. And this is going to be a vertical card. I have a little strip here of the Tidings of Christmas paper. This is one of my favorite patterns from the package. Really pretty. Has all the coordinating colors together. And I'm just going to put that down the side. This is a 5 1/4 by 1 inch strip. Next, I have a 5 1/4 by 3 inch strip of Evening Evergreen. And let me see what this is called. This is a new folder. It's actually a combo pack from the annual catalog. And it has evergreens. What is it called? Oh, it's called Wintry. It's down here on page 155. And there's one that has snowflakes, and then the one that has evergreen branches. So we're using the evergreen branches. I just absolutely Love that. Can you see that? It's perfect with this bundle. It goes just lovely. And you can even use the deboss side. Really, really pretty. So again, we want to use a secure adhesive on that. So I'm using Seal. And that's just going to go right alongside this little strip, just to give it some texture. All right, next up, I have a piece here of this basic white that's been die cut with the stitched rectangles dies, so it has that beautiful stitching around it. And we're going to do very similar to the last one where we put a bunch of pine trees. We're going to start with that great big evening evergreen. We'll put that right in the center. And then let's do our soft succulent for our medium size. I'm going to stamp this off just to make it a little bit lighter. And also our small one. Stamped off. So just some light trees in the background. And then there's this little stamp right here that is kind of like a little shadow that can go underneath your tree. And I'm going to stamp that one in Misty Moonlight to kind of give me a feel of the snow. We have Misty Moonlight in our paper here. So I'm going to ink that up in Misty Moonlight, stamp off once, and then just put a little shadow underneath there. Just a little pop of color that goes right along with it. All right, I'm going to layer that on a piece of cherry cobbler, and this measures 2 3/8 by 3 3/4. I'm actually going to pop that up, I think. And we'll put that kind of on the top of our card. I'm going to add some seal. It might have been smarter to put the cherry cobbler down first and then pop it up, but we like to do it backwards sometimes. So we'll put that right at the top, and then we're going to add a sentiment at the bottom. This time I have die cut a little label from Basic White, and I use the ornate frames to cut that out. And that is just the perfect size for that medium sentiment. I'm going to stamp that in cherry cobbler. It's a little bit crooked. I'm going to try again on the other side. There's always a second chance on the other side. Whoops, there we go. Let's try again. That's a little bit better. So we'll put some dimensionals on there as well. Pop that up. And just add that right to the bottom. And then let's dress it up just a little bit. I have some soft succulent open weave ribbon. And I'm just going to wrap that all the way around the cardstock. Again, just doing a double knot. Trim that off. And I think I'm going to scoot that up just a little bit. And I'm going to move that right over to where those two papers meet. And we'll finish up again with some holiday rhinestones. This time I'm going to use the Pool Party, just because even though we don't have any specific pool party, it's close. That's what I love about these rhinestones. They are very, very close. And so they kind of match anyway. So that is our third card. There we go. I love that. It has a lot of textures and layers. Really, really pretty. Let me show you my other version. This one I did in Sahara Sand. I used the new bark texture for the background. And since we had Misty Moonlight in there, I went ahead and made that more of a featured color with the two evergreens. I layered it on some soft succulent, stamped with Evening Evergreen, and added some evergreen rhinestones. I actually colored those in, or maybe it was soft succulent. I think I used soft succulent. Nope, they were Pool Party. It's so weird. It really does kind of coordinate even though it's Pool Party. It looks like the soft succulent. If you don't have the holiday rhinestones, remember you can always use regular rhinestones and your Stampin' Blends. You can alter the color of your rhinestones to match any of your Stampin' Blends colors. All right. This next one, I'm going to show you how to use that punch. We're going to start with Sahara Sand as our card base. My little dimensional papers are everywhere. Everywhere. Okay, this time we have another piece of the Tidings of Christmas, the striped paper. We're going to put that along the bottom. Just have a little bit peeking out of the bottom there of the Sahara Sand. Next, I have another piece of that Tidings of Christmas paper. This is cut 4 by 3, and we're going to layer that on a 4 1/4 by 3 1/4 piece of cherry cobbler. Give it a nice frame. So that's going to go over the top. Now let's show you how to do that evening, or the evergreen border. So you're going to unlock it, and I like to start, you just need an edge of a piece. You can have a strip, doesn't need to be this big of a piece. And I'm going to start right in the center, push it all the way flush to that little ledge, and then punch down. Then we're going to move that over, and I'm going to hold this up to the camera so hopefully you can see. So you can see that there's trees on here, and you're going to just layer that right over the top until they match up. And then the part that isn't punched yet, where you have your straight edge that's inside, you want that to be nice and flush and straight inside the punch. So keep your trees all lined up, push this side in flush, and then press down. So that continues that punch. I love that. So we're going to do that on the other side. You're going to line those trees up, push this side down so it's nice and flush, the part that's inside of the punch, and then you have the rest of your trees. Such a beautiful border. I love that you can use it as an element of, kind of a focal point that we're doing here on the front. You could also, it makes a really nice border for the inside of your cards that match your pretty evergreen stamped images on the outside. So on the inside of your, where your writing is, you can have a really nice border down there and decorate that as well. You could also, I didn't do it on any of my cards today, but you could also cut these apart and use them, 2, 3, or just 1 at a time, and put your accents on that way. You could do that for the inside of your card. You could put just 2 on one side and 1 on the other. So think about that. You can cut those apart as well. So I'm going to layer this over the top. I'm going to cut it actually first. I'm going to cut this raw edge off. Kind of clean that up. And this is going to go right across this, so it's going to end at this tree down here. So I'll cut that off. I'm going to use a little bit of liquid multi-purpose glue on each of these trees. And we'll just layer that right along the bottom. And then I'm gonna add some baker's twine. This is kind of a Sahara sand baker's twine. There is linen thread in the new annual catalog, but there's also this awesome essentials pack, the Baker's Twine Essentials Pack. It has kind of a linen thread look. It's almost like a crumb cake, white, a very vanilla, black, and then this one is almost a gray. You can use it with Sahara sand, you can use it with smoky slate, gray granite. It really goes very nicely, and that's what I'm using here today. Actually, probably might have worked a little bit better with the crumb cake version. Maybe that's what I'll put in your kit. I'll take a look at that and see which one looks better. So I'm just gonna tie that again in a double knot. Nothing fancy, just gives it just a little extra detail, little extra texture. And if you want to, you can just twist these ends and unravel them a little bit, kind of fray them, just for a little bit of extra texture. And I'll just kind of push that down to the bottom of the trees. So that's going to go on our card. Let's go ahead and pop that up with some dimensionals here. And this is a really nice card layout that you can duplicate with any Christmas stamp set and any paper. And then we're just going to add a little sentiment. We have a piece here that is 3 by 1, and we'll add, I'm going to clean this up. This had red on it before, so I'm going to use my Simply Chamois. Just squish it on there and clean that up so we can use our evening evergreen. I'll stamp that on our piece here. And then just like we did for the first card, I'm going to use that Pick-a-Punch, only this time I'm going to use that inverted banner. Hopefully you can see that. So this goes with the 1 inch, slides right in there. You're going to want to make sure it's all the way in. Whoops, nice and flush, nice and tucked into that groove there. Punch. And then we'll flip it around. Make sure it's all the way in. Make sure that that is lined up right in the groove. You don't want it to be off even a little bit, or your punch will be just a little bit crooked. So there is our really quick little banner. I love that, just makes a really quick detail on those ends. We'll pop that up. And this time we're just going to use some regular rhinestones. Let's go. I always like to use about 3. I'm kind of predictable that way. So it kind of reminds me of snow when you use the white rhinestones. So there is our 4th card. Let me show you another version, the Too Cool version that I made. This one is starting with Evening Evergreen. We use that same striped paper. I selected a different Sahara Sand snowy paper pattern from the Tidings of Christmas. Those same evergreens across the bottom. If you didn't want to tie that around, you could make a little bow and just use a little glue dot and tie it and put that on there. And then the same sentiment. Super, super cute. All right, we've got one more card. And we're going to kind of go back to some things that we learned in the first card. This one starts with a basic white, thick cardstock. You want to make sure you use thick if you're using a card base. That's going to make it nice and sturdy. Our regular basic white is a little bit thinner than the rest of the cardstock, and part of that is because of the smooth finish. It's kind of a hot pressed finish so that it's easy to stamp on. So this one, I have a 2 by 5.5 piece of another pretty pattern from that Tidings of Christmas. And we're gonna put that right across the top. Just have a little 1/4 inch, 1/8 inch white showing along the top. I have another 2 by 5.5 piece, this time of soft succulent, and I have added that wintry pine texture to it. I love that. It goes so well with this set. Between that and the Evergreen embossing folders, you need both of those, really. They both look so great. So we'll add that along the bottom. And then a little piece of evening evergreen to go right down the middle, a little band in the middle. This is just a 1/2 inch strip. Okay, next I already die cut a basic white tailor-made tags shape. I love this die set. This, if you need some quick tags, it has tags of all shapes and or of all sizes in 2 different shapes. So this is one of the larger ones, and I'm gonna decorate it with some pine branches here. Actually, let me put the sentiment on first because I don't want to run out of room there. So this is our Merry Christmas. We'll do that right along the top. And then we'll add our pine underneath. Look how fast you can make a tag. You could, I mean, you could just make a bunch of these tags for your holiday projects, for your holiday gifts. So I'm gonna pop that up. Again, this is just another simple layout, fast to put together. It does have a little bit of die cutting and embossing, but the stamping is so simple, yet it's so pretty. And I'm just gonna, it's gonna be like a close-up of a gift package that I wrapped. And I did already put together this bow. This is the real red sheer ribbon, and I've tied a little bow already. And in your kits, I'll have all your bows tied, so you don't have to worry about that. I know a lot of people don't like to tie bows. So no need to fret. We're just gonna add that right to the top of the tag, so it looks just like a little Christmas package up close. And we'll finish off with some real red rhinestones. And we'll just add them like little berries to our pine. Just a little pop of color. So, so pretty. And there's our last card. That one came together so quickly. Let me show you another. This is very similar. I just did the paper going down the side on cherry cobbler and white this time for that texture. And I added the soft succulent bow. So very similar, just kind of a different orientation. All right, that is the last card. Let me put all the cards together that are going to be in your 5-card kit. So again, if you'd like to make the same cards that I made today, you can just place an order with me of at least $35 minimum. You can go to toocoolstamping.com, click on the Shop Now link, and that will take you to my online store where you can place an order. And I will send you all of the card making supplies to make these really cool cards. All you're gonna need are the stamp set, the bundle if you want the punch as well. I will have everything punched out for you, so you don't necessarily need the full bundle, but you're gonna want it anyway because it's such a cool, like I said, you can use it on the inside of your cards, you can cut them apart and everything. So, but other than that, I'm gonna give you all those different supplies. You just add the stamps, inks, and adhesives yourself. Everything else will be ready to go, and you can make these same cards. So again, go to my website, toocoolstamping.com, click on the Shop Now link. Be sure to use that host code on the shopping cart page where your total is. There's a box right at the top that you're gonna wanna add that to. That way I know which kit you're interested in. And the card class will be open until next week. Let me get a date on that. That's July 14th. So this offer is good through July 14th of 2021. And then the kits will mail out on July 19th. So you can expect those in the mail then. All right, don't forget, next week, it's another episode of Christmas in July. We're gonna be featuring the Tidings and what is it called? Tidings and Trimmings? That doesn't sound right. Let me look real quick. Dun, da, da, da. It's called, yeah, Tidings and Trimmings bundle. It's really pretty. Let me show you that. Just give a quick look real quick. That's in our annual catalog. I love this stamp set. Some really pretty stockings, some beautiful sentiments, lots of sentiments actually you can use on both the inside and outside of the cards to create tags with a to and from. And there's a beautiful die set that goes with it with some outlines of the stars and also intricately cut stars and holly and stockings as well. So really, really pretty. I can't wait to do that with you next week. That will be on the July 15th, same time, 9 a.m. Eastern time, right here. We'll do that class and we'll have another live class kit to go along with it. All right, everybody, thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate you spending some time with me and I hope you've enjoyed the cards. This is Angie and I'll be back with you next week again with that second Christmas in July class. Until then, it's Angie with Too Cool Stamping. I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.